Test, test.
There we go. We're live. Michael Rapaport on No Jumper. I bet the people thought they would never see this.
Ha 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 ha.
I don't know what kind of expectations you have for this interview. This is our first time meeting.
Yes, I just met you 2 seconds ago. You made me pay for parking.
That is not true.
That's
I had
not
you
true.
parked behind some fucking random closed
That's
restaurant.
not true.
Now.
I was making it up.
You know, I watched the Tribe Called Quest documentary last night.
Did you?
It was a great experience. Honestly, I could tell my girlfriend knew that I was really enjoying it because she like didn't try to talk to me the whole time. So that was nice.
Yeah, I'm proud of that film. I'm proud of it. I'm glad we got it done. It was a challenge. You know, but the group, I've always been a huge fan. And, you know, obviously with the passing of Fife, it's even taken on more meaning. But when the film came out and just everything that it took to make it and everything that group has been through and everything they mean to the fans, I was proud of it.
Yeah, because there was a whole lot of fucking turmoil that led up to it. Was
Yeah.
that expected that you would butt heads with Q-Tip that hard?
You know, it wasn't expected. You know, I've known Tip before the movie. I actually just spoke to him. We're friends, you know, and you know, the film was challenging for the group. It was challenging for me as a filmmaker, and obviously, you know, it was the group. You know, this is before, and you know, and since the film came out, even before the passing of the great Phife Dawg, me and Tip sort of, you know, worked out our differences, and I understood what he was doing. I didn't like it, and I think, but I understood it.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean the fact that he allowed the whole film to be made and then asked for more?
Yeah, I understood it. You know, I didn't like the way it was going down, but he had reason to not like some of the things that were going down with the production, and it's all been documented. And we should have made a documentary about the making of the documentary, because that would have been good. But after all was said and done and done and said, I'm glad that throughout all the fighting and all that shit that I went through with the group, and the group went through because of the film, that we got it done. Because the passing of Phife, it really gives a strong sort of contextualized a legacy of the group and sort of what Phife was going through at that period in his life.
Right.
So it was a blessing that we were able to get it done. And I don't use that word blessing a lot, but it was really important that we got it done.
What was your early relationship with Tribe?
Just a fan.
Always just a fan,
mean,
okay.
through the, you know, when they first came out, I was just a fan. And then, I mean, a big fan, like, you know, many other groups and artists. And then I had met Q-Tip and Ali, you know, and I knew them a little bit. And Tip the most. I'd see him at Knick games. And, you know, we were friends. And we still are friends. Like I said, I just spoke to him. I just, you know, when the group broke up, I was at their last show. I think it was at a place called SOB's in New York. And I remember being at their announced last show. And I said, somebody should make a documentary about A Tribe Called Quest. And then, you know, 10 years later, I wound up being the person that made it. But like, they always meant so much to me as a fan. I just loved their music and everything they represented, and the musicality and the playfulness and the seriousness and the Afrocentricity and the production. They're game changers. They're Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Hip Hop Hall of Fame. Can't question anything they've done, and their influence still trickles down today.
Because I grew up listening to them, but for some reason it was one of those groups that I never really felt the need to figure out like how they fit in contextually. Because I started listening to them like after their run, their major.
How old are you?
35.
35, okay.
But you know what? Actually, I remember I got that fucking their last album. I remember I got that through one of those fucking terrible like CD clubs. You would have that ad in there, and then you'd get like 10 CDs, and like I would just order every rap CD because I didn't know any way to get music other than that. And yeah, then like figured it out later, but never like really bothered to like know that much about the characters. So it was like really good for me to like actually, you know, dig into that last night.
Yeah, and their music was always what we knew about them the most. And I think that's one of the reasons that it got dicey making the film. And one thing that they all said, even though they had their stuff and they had their stuff with me and, you know, as a filmmaker, was that music was first. The music was first, but, you know, you could only tell so much of a story it becomes like a just how did you make this song? And I love all that shit, but I didn't want to do just a how do you make this song? And we could do a whole film on how did you make this song, and the samples are so intricate. And Q-Tip on Ali and Fife and Jerobi, like the musicality is a whole other thing, but that's not what the intention was from the beginning. You know, it's a dope movie, and I'm not saying it to pat myself on the back. I'm saying it like I'm proud of that movie. And listen, it's a dope group, so it's hard to fuck up the movie. Right. You know what I mean? It's hard to fuck up a Tribe Called Quest movie, but I felt that pressure making the movie. Like, you don't want to be the person who fucks up a documentary about Tribe Called Quest because the music was already so high. Yeah, that's like a lofty thing to take on, period. Particularly as like a Caucasian guy in the game, to be like, I'm going to be the one that tells this fucking crazy story. But the Caucasian shit is not anything that I... in particular with them, because they're such like they're just so associated with, like, you know, being this Afrocentric group. Yeah, but they're also associated, and also hip hop in general. Like, I gotta be honest, like, I don't think that way. That's how I don't think that way. But in regards to Tribe, like, their music was always inclusive. Like, it's black, it's pro-black, it's Afrocentric, but their music was inclusive for everybody. And if you were fucking with it, you were fucking with it. And they're one of the first groups that came out with a few. There's a few groups like that. There was that whole Native Tongues clique with De La, Jungle Brothers, Moni Love, Queen Latifah, and all them. That was inclusive. It's black music and it's Afrocentric, but it is for everybody. And Tribe was, and De La particularly, were really the leaders of that. So, you know, like, you know, listen, I grew up in New York in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. I was born in 1970. Like, hip hop was, if you fucked with hip hop, there was no, I mean, sometimes you'd be the only white person in certain places, but it's really like, if you're fucking with hip hop at that time, I'm talking about when I'm going out in the streets and like the clubs, like 85, 86, 87, like, if you're there for hip hop. And there's no like, what the fuck are you doing here? People might want to do whatever, but they're trying to try everybody. Like, I would go to clubs and black people would be robbing black people, and Puerto Rican people would be robbing Puerto Rican people, and but it was just like, you're there for the music and the experience, especially at that time, because it was not like what we're used to today, where it's just so accessible. There was a handful of clubs that played hip hop music. There were 2 stations in New York, 3 later on, that played hip hop music. So if you were fucking with it, you were fucking with it. So obviously, you know, it was in the neighborhoods, and it was in the ghettos and shit like that. But it wasn't any, like, I didn't grow up conscious of, I'm around hip. Like, it just was what it was, especially in New York City. Yeah, definitely. How do you feel in terms of, like, what drives you to keep yourself in the hip hop dialogue to such an extent? Because you clearly don't have to. You're clearly making money in other ways. Like, you know, one of the things that these hip hop comments that I've made, and the videos, and the good, the bad, and the difference. You've clearly got things figured out when it comes to just yelling into your iPhone for a minute and going viral. Yeah, but I have no. Just to be clear for all you young people out there, like, what the fuck? Yeah, this fucking guy. What's his deal? I've never been in the music business. I'm not a disgruntled rapper. I'm not a disgruntled music label executive. I'm just always have been, always will be. I'm not a rapper. I'm a Rapaport, but I'm not I have no stake in the music business. I am just a fan. So when I'm talking shit, or talking shit that when Rakim turns 50, why isn't every single hip hop station in the country saluting him? And that was a viral video, but it's more of a positive one. But when I'm talking shit, I'm just talking shit as a fan. I think it's gotten some sort of way it's gotten twisted. Like, I'm some sort of music industry person. I'm just a fan, and it means so much to me. The music means so much to me as a fan. So if I think it's being disrespected, or I think it's being not treated correctly, or contextualized correctly, and if it's just whack music, that's my opinion. That doesn't mean I say, oh, I don't want this person to make as much money as they possibly can. I don't want their fans to love them. I just think your shit is whack. If I think it's whack, it's whack. And you can't, and that's my opinion. And I don't give a fuck if you're like, oh, well, you're white, I don't think along those guidelines. The shit is whack, the shit is whack. When the world blows up, if it ever blows up, 300 years from now, when they dig up the CDs and they dig up the music of James Brown, the shit's gonna get played in 300 years from now, and you're gonna be like, when you hear it, you're gonna be like, this shit is fucking dope. If the first time you hear it, 300 years from now, some of the music that some people put out now, I don't know how people are gonna receive it, but when I know they put on James Brown, they put on Eric B. and Rakim, they put on Tribe Called Quest, they put on KRS-One Boogie Down Productions, I know the response is gonna be like, this is fucking dope.
But don't you think that almost all popular music becomes beloved, 30, 40 years after it's out? Like, at least people have space for it, people are able to appreciate it. I remember like Mo Money, Mo Problems, like this Biggie era was like maligned by hardcore hip-hop heads because of what it represented.
But we all danced in the club.
Right, but then 10 years later, it's like you couldn't find a hip-hop fan that would have anything negative to say about that Bad Boy run.
That's true, but even the dudes like myself, I was like, yo, this is getting watered down at the time, but that shit was bumping in the club.
Right.
And you were dancing to it, and you were rocking to it, and you couldn't deny Biggie. I think it was getting away from that grimy Wu-Tang, Onyx, dirt on the Timberland boot shit.
That was some Growing Pains type shit where people didn't want to see rap go in that direction.
Yeah,
get that polished.
But those were still dope songs. And I think it was just kind of like a push and pull. But like there's certain dudes that I listen to now. I'll listen to, like, am I missing something? Am I wrong? And I'm like, man, this is not dope.
What made you want to go at Meek Mill?
The Meek Mill thing was, I missed my word. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Meek Mill, but I shouldn't have said he's trash, because he's not trash.
He's a good rapper.
He's a good rapper.
It seems like that's a universal consensus.
Yeah, he's made good songs. Okay, I think if you personally, I think that Meek Mill sometimes, like, his passion overrides him off the beat. So he's like, he's on the beat, and he's off the beat, and he's screaming. This is my opinion, but he's not trash. So the NBA All-Star Weekend was it was a mess.
Okay.
The whole weekend, the three-point contest, the dunk contest sucked.
Okay.
It was a bottoming. By the time it got to the game and Meek Mill performed, and it's on record that the sound was kind of fucked up, and I'm watching the TV, me saying he's trash was kind of like an overall thing for the NBA All-Star Weekend. What I should have said is the NBA All-Star Weekend is trash, and this performance by Meek Mill ain't shit. Because that's really like when after all the backlash from it, and the you're this and you're that, and then him responding to it, I was like, fuck. Because if I had used my words right and I had said what I just said about his rapping, I could have stood by that. But I can't stand by saying he's trash, because I don't think he's trash. And for somebody who likes to talk shit like myself, listen, if sometimes you got to take a loss in terms of you weren't right. And I don't have enough vested interest in the whole shit to be like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. That was the wrong choice of words. That being said, I'm not like bumping Meek Mill's music. Like I never thought that. Like for me, like I like his story. I like his come up. I like his revitalized come up after he got locked up. I think he's gonna do good things with his prison reform stuff. And like I said, I don't think he's trash, but I don't really rock with him the way I rock with other music. It doesn't get me like that.
Right, but like it feels like you're too smart. You've been in the media cycle for too long for you to not know what's going to happen.
Now I'm aware of it.
Right.
Now, to be honest with you, when it comes to hip hop, if you look back on since social media, I've made good, and it's not always, obviously when you say things negative, they're going to get attention, but I say so much positive shit about random musicians, random songs, random artists all the time. It never goes viral. The only time it went viral is when I was talking shit about hip hop radio, because I thought that Rakim's 50th birthday should have been a bigger deal in hip hop. Just like give a tweet, play a little Rakim tribute on the radio, do something. It's fucking Rakim.
But that's you saying something negative about entities that nobody's going to defend, that nobody gives a fuck about, because nobody gives a shit about like terrestrial radio.
I know, but that was like a viral video.
Yeah.
So when I say good things, nothing happens. But when I say negative things in hip hop now I'm aware of it. But when I'm saying it, God is my witness, I'm just saying it. Like the Meek Mill thing. Like I'm watching the All-Star game and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, oh, what? Oh shit. Oh shit. And then I'm like doubling down like, yeah, he's not even a top 20 rapper from Philly, because people are like, fuck you, Culture Vulture, or what the fuck are you talking? I could obviously curse here.
I don't know if I could name 20 rappers from Philly. Well, Never mind 20 rappers who are better than Meek Mill. That's when I was, and then I would say I was trolling. Who do you think's better, Lil Uzi Vert or Meek Mill?
I don't fuck with Lil Uzi.
You don't
Meek
like
Mill.
Him? Really?
Period.
Okay.
So that's why when I say I shouldn't have said he's trash. Because if you had asked me that before the comment, I would have been like Meek Mill, period.
Okay.
But if I had said something, the thing about the Meek Mill thing, if I had said something I could have stood behind and Meek Mill had said what he said, I would have kept going with Meek Mill. Because I could say what I want to say about your music. Like, not everybody's going to like it. And I don't, why are you speaking on our culture? You have no right to speak on your... Yo, I'm gonna talk shit about this. What I've been around and what I've seen in regards to hip hop and what I've contributed with the Tribe Doc, with the roles I've played, with the way I represent myself, with the movies that I've been in regards to hip hop and hip hop culture. My opinion is my opinion, and I'm clear on my opinion. And again, I have no vested interest. I'm not a old, beleaguered, fucked up, out of work rapper. I'm just a fan.
Right.
So if my opinion is my opinion, prove me wrong. And the thing about Meek, and again, it's not personal. It's like we quickly forget when the Drake thing happened. I know they've moved on, but that's part of his legacy as a musician. As a musician, that's part of his legacy. And I'm trying to recreate beef and all that shit. But when all the people that were like, fuck you, Rapaport, da-da-da-da-da, about the Meek Mill thing, where were you when the Drake shit happened? And I tweeted, and you could look on my Twitter, during that time, I was like, Meek, go run it back on him. Because I was rooting for him in that, but I was run it back, fuck it, you swung, you missed. He went back to back, literally and figuratively. Well, then you could swing again and you could hit it.
I think like hip hop sort of universally, maybe not universally, but it seems like the retrospective perspective on that series of events is that we sort of allowed the internet to like malign Meek Mill too readily. I think that's how people are gonna. I agree, he lost.
Period.
But I think
and
when people look back
from it.
But people were so eager to shit on Meek Mill, and like especially, I would say that his comeback since then is a huge testament to his endurance as an artist, because he was able to make this big comeback regardless of that. And then even for Drake to like accept him back, they're making big records together. This all just looks very, very good for him, and he's being viewed from this political lens now that nobody ever saw him through before.
So, totally agree. That being said, if I had phrased my words correctly when I made the tweet about the All-Star Game performance or what spawned that, I would have stood by it.
And nobody could say you go after soft targets, because that was definitely you biting off a big old beef right there, because you got to know that he's somebody that's very beloved in rap right now.
Yeah. I know that, and I also know when it was time to really bunker down as a hip hop artist, as a battle rapper, and as a fighter. He didn't do it. He didn't answer the bell in the 15th round. Fuck the 12th round. He didn't answer the bell in the 15th round as an MC. And at the time, I was like, get this fucking guy. Meek Mill tweeted, get this fucking guy. Come out and get and he didn't do it. So yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think, oh, I'm saying this and I'm going after this and then I'm like, he's gonna respond. And I know people in this industry. I know people at his record label, friends of mine. So when I get phone calls from them like, yo, you're talking about our artist and la la la, and I'm like, fuck, I can't stand by what I said, because I don't believe he's trash. But like I said, I said what I said about him, and I could say that and still be like, get your fucking money. You're doing great things, and I said that in the series of tweets. And then when I posted the picture of myself, I was like making fun of myself. Like I knew the context of the picture.
Which picture?
I posted a picture of me and Meek Mill.
Because he said that you asked him for a photo.
That's right.
Right.
I knew that, but he said, but he only would remember that because he was going off my tweets. Because in that series of tweets that I said he was trash was that.
Okay.
And that was me kind of being like, you know, talk shit about me, like throw it out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew that we sat next to each other at the 2015 All-Star game, the slam dunk contest.
Okay.
And you know, I was there. It was Nicki Minaj. She's in the picture. So I was, you know, like one thing, like if you know, people sometimes they misconstrued with all my shit talking, except for with Trump. 99.9% of the time, and in that Meek Mill thing, I posted that picture. That picture wasn't out. I reposted that picture. I'm making fun of myself. Like, I'll talk shit about myself first, because if you're going to talk shit, you got to be able to take it.
Right. I mean, that's one thing that I really appreciate is the reverence that you have for the shit talking as an art form, because it's like you do, like if you, this is one thing somebody told me a long time ago, if you only talk shit about pussies, then you're a pussy.
Absolutely.
You have to go after big names, and you're not really a competent public figure if you're not willing to have a strong opinion and not be scared of getting beat up or having somebody go after you, etc.
So when people talk shit back and you're bugging and whatever the fuck they're gonna say, all right, that's part of the game. You know, if you're gonna put yourself out there talking big shit, big stake shit, you know, that's part of the thing. And so if he's gonna come back and say his thing, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not going to keep going and going and going. Just like I'm not going to keep going and going and going with Kodak Black and keep, because it's not, I'm 49 years old. I'm not like, this isn't my life. And again, I don't make any, like, another thing about that people misconstrued regarding me and the shit talking is when I get on the internet and curse, it doesn't matter if I'm saying, fuck Adam 22 or this fucking coffee sucks or fuck this rapper or fuck Dick Stain Donald Trump this or this, that, and the other. It fucks up my money. But I don't get money to post videos. I don't get money to curse on Twitter.
But there's a positive effect that you get from just getting a lot of publicity in general.
But not financially, though. In my business, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
That's what I do first and foremost. I'm a podcaster. But that's how I make the big string of my money.
I watched last night you as the father to the autistic kid.
Oh, okay.
One episode, but it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Thanks for the research. But so like people think like you're trying to do this to make money or you're trying to do this to stay around. Like I'm doing this because this is how I feel. Like I'm talking shit. Like just like when I talk shit in sports, I'm not in the NBA. I'm not a coach. I'm not an ex-coach. I'm just a fucking fan.
I'm not immersed in basketball like I am in hip hop, but is your public image in the basketball community similar to your public image in hip hop?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's different because I literally have nothing to do. I'm just a basketball fan.
Yeah.
So like I can't say, well, I directed a Tribe movie or I've done this. I mean, but I'm like any other crazy fan. I just have a louder voice. And because I go on the sports shows, louder meaning literally, but also like audience-wise. So like the equivalent of my mumble rappers is LeBron. So I talk shit about LeBron all the time, and I could sit here and say he's top 5 player of all time. But that doesn't mean I have to. First of all, he's not on my team. And when Michael Jordan played, I didn't fucking love him. When Larry Bird played, I couldn't stand that motherfucker.
See, I was a Larry Bird fan as a kid.
But he's one of the, like, it's like in sports right now, Tom Brady, it's accepted. Either you fuck with the Patriots or you hate Tom Brady. For some reason with LeBron James, it's like everybody should love him. Kobe Bryant, you either fucked with Kobe, fucked with the Lakers, or you hated him. LeBron, like you wouldn't be like, oh, you're a Kobe hater. You understand it. You don't go, you're a Tom Brady hater. You know why we hate Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm a Giants fan. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that when it comes to being a good commentator, a good public figure, that really like the difference between good and bad, when I watch people on like different like up and coming like hip hop shows or whatever, in terms of how I judge their ability to communicate, it seems like usually the good ones are willing to have hard stances on anything, and the bad ones are the ones where you ask them a question, they're like, well, you know, I don't know, like their project is doing good, but also they did this, and like they're very, very wishy-washy. It seems like you at some point either you know, it was literally going through your head or you just internalized it, the idea that if you have
social
extremely
media.
strong stances that's important.
It's just social media, because I've always been like this, spoken the same way. But you're right. And one thing, I had said this when I came, the final thing that I said about the Kodak Black thing was all these media people, hip hop experts, hip hop bloggers, whatever the fuck that corny shit is, all of you are trash. Each and every one of you that calls yourself a hip hop blogger, you're all trash. The good, the bad, the great radio personalities, a lot of them will say this: wow, Kodak Black, he said he should be looked at in the same way as Nas, Tupac, and Biggie. What do you guys think? And I'm like, no, you punk ass motherfucker.
But that's just to get Instagram engagement.
But why don't you say what you think?
Right.
Because the majority of them felt the exact same way that I felt.
But I feel like the Instagram caption is maybe not the place for the nuanced discussion.
But on the radio, they'll say that, and they won't give their opinion. Oh, what do you guys think? Call in. What do you guys think? Tweet us. No, I want to know, since you're such a blogger with an opinion, why don't you say what you think, and then let the people call in. Speak your fucking truth, because I know listen, I know a lot of people like Kodak Black, and I know a lot of people think he's fucking just like it's a joke. And whatever it is, he's doing great. But this is if you speak your opinion, and for me, like to disrespect Young M.A., to disrespect Sticky Fingers, and then to come out and say, I should be looked at in the same way as Nas, Tupac, and Biggie, and the only reason why Tupac and Biggie became legends or icons is because they died. And I'm like waiting around, and I'm like, nobody's gonna say anything. Like it takes a second to say something.
Those same media entities that you're accusing of not having an opinion are the same ones that are so desperate to take any young rapper who has mentioned Tupac or Biggie at all and to just write headlines about him. Like a lot of these situations, like the Lil Xan thing, the 03 Greedo thing, they both disrespected Tupac, whatever. It's like those were setups. Like they're asking these artists these questions because they know that you can literally take Tupac's name and get headlines by just combining anything plus Tupac equals viral.
Even if he said, yo, he means everything to me.
I mean, even that would go somewhere, but if you just say one little tiny thing, because I get it. I'm friends with TK, who's 03 Greedo's manager, and he was in the room when they asked 03 Greedo about Tupac, and Greedo was like pissed off from doing a long day of interviews, and he just said, man, fuck Tupac. I got a metal leg. I don't give a fuck about Tupac, which was, it's funny to hear from his perspective because he's like a real gangster that he's actually questioning Tupac's gangster credentials there, which is, he does have a metal leg. He's like, he's got a little bit of an argument to be had there. But I mean, these media entities know, like when X died, I said something briefly on a live stream or something where I said X will be remembered as the Tupac of his generation. Boom, TMZ's in my DMs 5 minutes later, like, oh, we want to come through and film you talking about this, blah, blah, blah. Because they know.
Did you know saying that would be that?
That didn't even cross my mind at all.
All right, because God is my fucking witness in regards to music and sports. I don't think twice about what I'm saying. I just articulate my feelings.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about, like, I got enough attention and accolades. Like, I'm talking my shit. So when I'm saying what I'm saying it because that's how I feel. But specifically with the Kodak Black thing, I was like, how is no one else, forget the young media outlets, there's got to be someone who's going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're in the same, and no, you're not even the same. You're not even playing the same sport.
But I could say this is that when I meet these younger generation of rappers,
they're all nice.
When I meet 18, 19-year-old kids these days, especially if they're down south, especially if they're from Florida, especially if they grew up in the ghetto, whatever, it's like their influences are Kodak Black and NBA Youngboy right now. They are the two biggest fucking influences. Is there a part of you that wants you to like empathize and like review Kodak Black's stuff to try to understand how he could mean so much to this current generation?
I understand how he could mean so much to this generation, and I know specifically hip-hop is a young man's sport. I totally understand that. So what he means, I'm not trying to fuck his legacy up or fuck his music or fuck his hustle up or anything. I'm just saying you're bugging for saying that. And me as a fan, I don't agree with what you're saying. And you're not that dope to be saying that. Now, if it was some young dude who was like really fucking ill, like let's say Kendrick Lamar said some shit like that, or J. Cole, who are a little bit older than those guys. But let's say one of these young dudes who was really, in my opinion, dope, said some shit like that, I'm not gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just because like, yo, that motherfucker's kind of nice. It's just like when Jay-Z said the line, who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas? It's like, all right, yeah, this is a respectful conversation that you're saying. And if he had said, then he said later on, he said different things, but that's hip hop. Hip hop is based on shit talking. But I'm like, you're not in the same, to me, you're not in the same ballpark. And it's not about being young. It's just like, I've listened to your music and I've re-listened to it since the little thing went down. And I'm like, I could, like, I'll double down, triple down, put the house, the dog, and all of it on. I've listened to it closely now. I'm like, because I was like, am I missing something? I listened to it in the car with the sound bumping, the phone off. I'm like, am I missing something? That doesn't mean that he doesn't mean a lot to other people. I'm just saying, to me, this shit's not getting anywhere in my head. And as far as this younger music, you notice this, and this isn't a financial thing. You notice all NBA arenas now play hip-hop beats, hip-hop music when guys are dribbling the ball up the court. Young kids play basketball. These guys are 21, 22. They're probably like, you know, from 19 to 34. LeBron James being the oldest at 34, who's very in tune with all sorts of music. They never play any of the shit that they listen to because that shit's not funky like the old shit. They play the Beatnuts, they play Tribe, they play De La, they play Souls of Mischief, they play KRS-One, they play Eric B. and Rakim.
But they want to play stuff that's relatable, that people already have this memory of.
But why wouldn't they in the arena during the game play the shit that the kids in the arena like? Because it doesn't have that same feeling.
It's like classic hip hop. They're trying to, you know, it's the same reason that you would be more likely to hear somebody playing the Beatles or Led Zeppelin than like current popular rock bands.
Why don't they play the dopest shit right now?
And it's just the aesthetic choice.
They'll never do it. In 20 years from now, they won't do it because that shit doesn't have the bang. The majority of it doesn't have the smack, the soul, the fucking, the guts, the heart that all the old shit has.
But the thing is, I was listening to a lot of Kodak Black in the lead up to this, realizing that I was going to have to defend him to some extent. And he actually reminds me of Tupac a lot in the sense that...
Not skill-wise.
But neither of them were very technical rappers. Like Biggie, you could say, okay, Biggie was like a really dope, classic New York City MC. He had a lot going for him in that sense. But Tupac was maligned at the time for not being lyrical enough. And that's something that you could say about Kodak too. They both have the same appeal in that they have a lot of feeling, a lot of heart to their content.
A lot of feeling, but you can't skill-wise. I never questioned Tupac's skill, I mean, like, listen, he was doing thug shit. He was doing Dear Mama shit. He was doing party joints. He was rhyming to different cadences, different flows. Tupac was a student of the fundamentals of hip hop. So the Kodak Black having a heart and having a lot of feeling and you could tell that it's a person that has a lot to say to get off his chest. And I like that. But the skill level, you can't compare it to that. You can't compare that shit to Nas. You could take it. What's his best song?
Well, you definitely can't compare him to Nas, but I don't think that that's the appeal.
What's his best song?
I mean, for me, I go back to No Flocking because that was one of the first songs that I really fell in love with.
You can't take that song and compare it to a Biggie freestyle. You can't take, you know that Biggie freestyle when he's on the corner, when he's out there rhyming? That's a freestyle when he was 15. You can't take his best song and put it in a freestyle that you never thought you would ever see the light of day.
Okay, but if you were to look at a full spectrum of all of the attributes that have to be built up together in order to form a successful or popular rapper, I'm going to be honest with you, I think that technical rapping ability is not a gigantic percentage of that.
Not anymore.
Because so many people, when you look at the music that's popular, it's almost never for its like sheer lyrical ability. It's just that people care about music that makes them feel something, and I feel like there's a lot of different ways to get there. But when you look at Kodak's style, it's like you could point to a lot of other lyricists from down south that, you know, were hated on in the 90s and everything because they weren't as lyrical as what was coming out of New York. Kodak's just an extension of that, where
I'm not just New York ride or die. Like, I fuck with Common. I've never been like East Coast, West Coast. I fuck with all the, but I know I get what you're saying. I get the argument. I get the heart of it. And the one thing I'm very clear on is that when hip hop came out in 82, 83, 84, 81, people were like, what the fuck is this shit? And I was like, suck my fucking dick.
And hip hop is always going to be that way, that the older generation rejects the stuff that the 17-year-old kids are into. And Kodak is a perfect sign of that right now.
Totally fucking understand it. Totally respect that and get it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't. That's like an NBA kid. That's like Zion Williams, right? He's going to be the #1 pick in the NBA, the Duke kid. You don't fuck with basketball. You know who Zion is, right?
No.
All right. Don't tell anybody that. You know who Zion is. Just say, yeah, I know. Of course.
I swear, yeah.
Just say, yeah, of course.
I should have gone along with it, yeah.
All right, so Zion, the #1 pick. When he gets drafted, they said, well, what do you think of Dominique Wilkins? He's like, I never saw Dominique Wilkins. You'd be like, you fucking asshole. What the fuck are you talking about? Only in hip hop there's that kind of disrespect accepted. Like, if you had a young guitar prodigy right now, you say, what do you think of B.B. King or Albert King? I never heard. Be like, what the f? You would be, but only in hip hop that is that kind of disrespect. And to me, I just thought like, yo, you're a young kid, and you know me as a fan, but I'm not expecting it to turn into this whole thing for him to talk about me on stage. I'm just like, me as a fan, like, push back. Like, you're tripping. And I'll take Biggie's freestyle on the corner in Brooklyn before he was Biggie Smalls, and I put that against every song you have, and there's nothing you have that's as great as that, and that's a 2-minute freestyle.
Rebuttal. Kodak said, "Free my N-words eating soup because they in the can."
Okay. It's a slick line. Yo, it's a slick line. But also, you could say a slick line, but like the way it's delivered might... See, like, I get the heart of it, but it's like, also some young rappers, slow down. Like,
they're rapping fast? I feel like, if anything, they're rapping slow.
But slow, like, you're a porn dude, right?
What's that mean?
Like, is that right? Like, or is that a rumor? Like, you did porn?
I mean, I don't like do porn, but I like fuck my girlfriend sometimes on her private Snapchat.
Okay.
And some of that's made its way over to porn.
So you must have a good fuck style.
I think I have various fuck styles.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a whole plethora of styles.
Okay. So with a fuck style, I could talk to you about fuck styles.
I got fuck styles. Let's talk about it.
Okay. So if you have fuck styles, you got your sugar dicking, you got your ground and pound, you got all sorts of different fuck styles. But if you're really gonna make love to it, you got to slow it down, right? You got to slow it down because everybody's trying to skeet. So we want to do all different fuck styles, but when you really want to get on some grown man fucking, your fuck game has improved since you're 34?
35, but yeah.
So when you were 17, your fuck game isn't what it is now, right?
Oh, hell no.
Okay. So that's equivalent to your fuck game when you were 17 to your fuck game now. You have different styles, right?
Yeah.
Speak on it. I mean, you must have an ill fuck game. I've never seen your work.
Right.
But I'm saying you must have an ill fuck game.
I mean, as a guy, I feel like you're really just kind of there. Like, if you could keep your boner for a long-ass time.
In porn or in real life?
It's just either one. Whenever you talk to porn girls, their biggest complaint is just about how these guys can't stay hard.
Right. Well, let's talk about real life fucking.
Right, yeah.
In order to be a good sexual partner, there's gotta be, different, there's gotta be variations. I'll say this, since I know your audience is
perverts.
Yeah.
Incels.
I want to use the proper language here. Cunnilingus. Okay? Because I'm a married man.
Eating box.
Okay, you said it. Now, as a young person, I would that skill. It takes your sexual prowess and your appreciation of sexuality to a different level. So if you look,
people don't want to rap super technical on songs because they're aware that being overtly technical on songs is probably going to take away from some element of the listenability.
How?
Because, think about Eminem's recent output. It's like, that's what he gets shit for, is like people think he over raps on a song, that he'll get too technical and it'll take away from the fucking Rihanna chorus or whatever. And then when you look at somebody who's maybe a bit more minimal with their flow, like, okay, for instance, I don't know if you're familiar with Snow the Product, but she's a fucking real dope female rapper.
I don't know.
She's really good, very, very technical. She's probably easily, I could say, like the best skilled female lyricist. Snow the Product.
Don't know her. No disrespect to Snow the Product.
Super dope. You should check her out.
Okay.
But my girlfriend was asking me, is like, do you think that she's gonna blow up like blank new female rapper? And I was like, just all the time I haven't even think about it. I'm like, nah, she raps too good. And my girl's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I just don't think that her style is gonna necessarily be palatable to like a mass market audience in the way that somebody who raps a little bit more laid back could be.
Got you. I understand what you're saying. Young M.A., ill technical rapper. Funny, puns, wordplay. She's got a great story. She's an ill rapper. She fucks around with different cadences, different flows. She rhymes on different kinds of beats. She'll put out freestyles over old beats. She rocks on new beats. She needs to put out a record. I think she'll blow up. And she's a stupid rapper. Like her flow game it's quintessential New York MC.
But there's an effect that takes place at some point where if somebody is rapping so technically, it just becomes like impossible to imagine it on the radio or.
I don't agree with that. Isn't Kendrick Lamar? He's like isn't Kendrick Lamar considered a great technical rapper?
Yeah, but Kendrick also is just a very rare anomaly when you look at a lot of facets of his career. That he can be like not on social media at all. Drops a project every 2 years. Everybody loses their mind over it. I mean, it's hard to pull that off.
J. Cole is a technical rapper.
And he fits in the same spot, same type of spot that Kendrick's in.
So is the majority of other shit just like Burger King and McDonald's, like fast food? Because you got to eat good. You can't just eat Burger King, McDonald's all the time. I want to have good food.
I think J. Cole could rap more technically than he does, and he chooses the spot where he's at in terms of just, like a happy medium. Because I feel like if J. Cole really wanted to prove that he was the best technical rapper, he would rap differently than he raps. He's concerned with getting a point across.
And he's a lyricist.
Remember Jay-Z, this is fucking corny as hell to quote this, but when Jay-Z said, if lyrics sold, that I would be lyrically Talib Kweli.
Right. But his lyrics are dumb too.
Jay?
Ridiculous.
Really?
He's fucking the best. Jay-Z's the best.
And you think his lyrics are dumb?
Dumb good.
Oh, okay.
Dumb good.
Okay. But
Be clear. Jay-Z, make sure you... Because now it's going to be the quote. Jay-Z is dumb good.
Nice, right.
He's stupid.
Yeah.
He's fucking ridiculous.
But Jay-Z he was making it clear in that lyric, which that was like 2002 or some shit when he said that.
He was making fun of himself too, though.
Right, but I mean, he was acknowledging that he could probably rap just as technically as Talib Kweli, but where's that really going to get him at the end of the day?
I got you. So I'm out of touch. So who's the top five? Not necessarily yours. I'm talking about right now. Like who's like the hottest dudes right now?
I mean, it kind of depends on.
Right now, who have songs out right now.
But if you want to talk about like in terms of overall the full rap landscape, then the top five is going to be somewhat solidified in the sense that it's like Kendrick.
No,
J.
I mean
Cole.
that have songs out in the last month. Like I'm saying that are right now. Not even. Let's exclude J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, because they're kind of like if you're doing a top five list, you're going to have Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z. Right. So let's exclude. Those two guys. Is there anyone else that should be excluded from that?
I mean, well, okay, Travis Scott is like ridiculously huge.
Okay, take him out of there. Take him out of there too. So those are three stars we're gonna take out of outside of them, like the guys a little bit beneath them, but that are like burgeoning.
Well, it's interesting when you look at somebody like Blueface because he's exploding on social media. He just got 3 million followers out of fucking nowhere. He's got a bunch of records that are on the charts and everything. But it's interesting because he's starting to feel like this massive presence in LA hip hop, but then if you take a look at his career and you put it side by side with like what Kendrick has done so far, it's like, okay, Blueface has accomplished like 1% of what of what Kendrick has done, but because social media amplifies everything, all of a sudden you're looking at them like side by side, like these are kind of the top guys in LA right now.
I got you. And who else?
I'm tempted to throw Juice WRLD on the list just
never
because,
even heard of him. No disrespect to Juice WRLD.
He's one of these new emo rappers. If you listen to his stuff, you might be kind of horrified just in the sense that there's very little of like hip hop sound to the majority of the songs on his album. But he just sold 180,000 copies first week, which is ridiculous.
Juice WRLD?
Juice WRLD.
All right, I got to check him out. Who else?
From Chicago. He's like a 19-year-old kid.
That's not, like I got a 19-year-old son. So it's like, okay, go ahead.
He probably listens to Juice WRLD, I'm going to be honest with you.
Probably, definitely.
I'm trying to think of who else is like super relevant right now.
You're plugged into this shit.
You got somebody like Gunna and Lil Baby who are kind of like the next generation of like Atlanta trap artists.
Now, are Migos considered, because at one point it was cool to shit all over the Migos.
Yeah, they went through a couple of different like career revivals in a sense where like I felt like they were supposed to experience the Drake curse because they got that the Drake verse right away. And there's like a theme that happens with artists where they get the Drake verse early on. Drake sort of like co-ops their sound style or whatever, and then it can be really hard for an artist to like continued to build after that. Like McConan was kind of a victim of that. When you look at Block Boy JB last year, he had such a fucking crazy style bubbling, and then Drake comes and does a song with him, and then it's kind of like Drake blows out that style so much that that's almost not your style anymore.
I got you.
People know of it as being that style that Drake had for that one song in a weird way.
But are they respected in terms of outside of the fact that they've sold a lot of records and that Homeboy is with Cardi B? Like, is their music legitimate?
I mean, you would definitely see a lot of people who'd be willing to say that, like, oh, Migos ain't shit, Migos ain't that special, blah, blah, blah. They just put out like solo projects, and the reviews were mixed for sure. But I mean, I would say definitely that they're respected just as guys and as overall rappers, even though they're not at, like if you look at somebody like Young Thug is like a huge stylistic influence on so many fucking people. Now I wouldn't say that people put Migos in that category because they're dope, they're consistent, they've made so many goddamn hit records, they're just like good ambassadors overall. People love them. But then when you look at Young Thug, it's like Young Thug might not be as popular. He definitely doesn't have songs that are anywhere near as big as certain Migos songs, but he's like the stylistic pioneer.
All right. Give me a little landscape of what's going on today.
I probably sound like a douche.
All right, listen, these are your people here.
We got 3,600 people watching this right now.
3,600 people. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that a good amount?
It's pretty good for us.
What's the most amount you've had?
I think we had 20,000 for Bad Baby.
Oh shit, yo, that's that girl.
Yeah, catch me outside.
She's making money as a rapper.
Yeah, she got signed to Atlantic Records.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. She just put out an album, so I feel like this is the test right here. Is like how this album does. Is
the album's out?
It's either out or it like came out last night. Usually they drop Thursday night.
And what is how is she reviewed? How is she looked at by her age bracket or in the young world?
I mean, considering that she's a 15-year-old who got famous from Dr. Phil, although actually I think she just turned 16. But considering that she's like a teenage girl that got famous from Dr. Phil, I would say that all things considered, her image is actually not that bad. Like she's not a constant punching bag, which you would definitely, if you were an alien and I was trying, or if you were in a coma for the last 5 years and I was trying to explain to you, you would probably think that this person was going to be like universally shit upon.
I got you.
In comparison to that,
do they play her songs on the radio?
Yeah, sometimes.
Wow. Now, one thing I like about Tekashi 6ix9ine, and people are like, well, why do you like him? Because he knows he ain't shit. He says, listen to this. This is a fucking joke. I'm not trying to be KRS-One. I'm not trying to be Guru. I know this is a fucking joke, and he's in on it. Some of these people, some of these artists, I feel like, I'm like, are you aware that this shit is whack? And you're like, just doing it for the hustle? Because that I could get behind.
The thing about 6ix9ine is that he never wrote his own shit. It was always written for him. How does that affect how you view him? Because a lot of people, I don't think
he doesn't give. I don't think he gives a fuck.
No, it doesn't.
And I respect that whole thing. Like whether he wrote it, didn't write it. I'm not here to win any awards. I'm here to get the fucking money.
Right.
I respect that. Now, my girl Cardi B. Shout out to the Boogie Down Bronx. How is she looked at now?
She's revered, you know. She's loved outside of hip hop. She's, you know, I would say that the hardcore crowd doesn't have anything too negative to say about her. You know, I think she's earning her place, even though, I mean, there's obviously questions about her authenticity and everything in the sense that she probably doesn't write most of her stuff and everything. But I mean,
the hardcore crowd, does the hardcore crowd accept disrespect? If you're a hardcore hip hop fan, can you also accept disrespect to the iconic people like Tupac, Nas, and Biggie, the way Kodak Black did?
Okay, the thing
if you're
for
a true fan,
this is the weird thing is I'm 35, so for
you're
me,
getting old.
It's like, yeah, I know, but I had my childhood was Tupac and Biggie. Like that was it for me. You know, I got into rap with like when Snoop Dogg put his first album out. So everything before that, I just don't have the same reverence for it. You know, it's hard for me to wrap my head around Run DMC. Like I can watch, I can read about it, I can hear like, oh, they were the first people dressing like this. They're the first people.
But when you hear that music, it doesn't.
It's cool, but it just doesn't affect me the same way that like the G-Funk shit did when that came out.
I understand. But
I feel like it's hard for me to go back and appreciate rap before I started listening to it. But if I could listen to something from the same time period that I started listening to rap, and that'll make sense. But the previous generations can be kind of hard for me to like 100% latch onto.
I got you.
But I feel like when you look at it, Tupac and Biggie are these ancient fucking memories for a lot of these kids now. Like, I'm 35 and that's what I was listening to when I was a little kid. But for a 19-year-old kid, what the fuck is Biggie and Tupac? That's like Sugar Hill Gang to me. You know?
But that's like saying, what the fuck? Like, if you put on Jimi Hendrix, you still, if you listen to Jimi Hendrix now, that shit's still dope.
Right, but rock music has such a longer shelf life, and really when you
but see, I don't see, but that's the thing that where I don't agree.
But classic rock,
and
essentially,
classic hip-hop,
but it's stopped.
classic rock.
But classic rock stopped. There's
And
no
so
new
did classic
classic rock
hip-hop.
being made.
But
you really think that? You really think that like
yeah.
Kendrick and J. Cole aren't classic hip hop today? It embodies all the traits.
It embodies all the traits, but it's still different. And I fuck with those guys and I respect them. But I think when that 808. Now, you can't just name it to a day, but that 808 and Heartbeat shit, and when we got away from, and I'm not like one of these New York ride or die. Outkast is one of my favorite groups. Scarface is one of my favorite MCs. You know, LA shit I fuck with. San Francisco Bay Area shit I fuck with. So I'm not like New York. But when we got away from the musicality and the production and there was a desperation. And if this doesn't work, I'm done to the record business back then. If I put out some shit today and it's whack, I could just go back on YouTube and put out some shit the next day. At the time, it was like, yo, and you felt that heart and soul, and also the production, the sample-based, using soul music, rock music, reggae music, jazz music, and all that stuff. It just has a depth to it, and that's one of the other problems. Like, is there a producer right now that you could compare to Marley Marl, DJ Premier, Q-Tip, Large Professor, Africa from the Jungle Brothers, Prince Paul, like that has like this, like Timberland, you know, Ninth Wonder, like these guys, like their music and their shit. There's a reason why when you hear it, you go like that.
There's a lot of good producers right now too.
But like I'm talking about like where you're like, yo, this motherfucker is like, where you go like that like a signature sound where you could tell like that's a Q-Tip beat. That's a Large Professor beat. That's a Marley Marl beat. That's a DJ Premier beat. That's a Pete Rock beat.
But there's a bunch of producers I can say that about right now.
You can say that that have like that signature sound? To
varying extents. I feel like a lot of producers now are pretty varied in the sense that they have like a wide spectrum of styles.
Okay, because I don't hear it.
Really?
But I'm also uninformed. I'm uninformed. Like half the people you just named, I never. What's the name? Juice WRLD?
Juice WRLD.
And that's the first time I've ever heard. So I know I'm uninformed, and I've stepped away from the majority of it.
Can you review Juice WRLD's album on your next podcast? I think that there's a lot.
What's the album called?
What's it? Death Race for Love.
I will do that.
Emo.
And I'll give it a fair listen to, and I'll listen to the whole thing through, and I'll give it a fair listen to.
Talk about your podcast for a moment. I know
the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast is a shit-talking extravaganza. It's a shit-talking extravaganza.
And you always film it just in your car off a recording device, or is that just occasional thing?
That's a occasional thing. It's not good to text and drive, and it's certainly not good to podcast and drive. But it was a time crunch thing. And sometimes if you're driving around, if I'm doing solo podcasts, if I'm driving around and podcasting, it's like almost like your mind is it's like extra focused because you're driving and you're you know whatever you're saying and thinking about comes out clear. So. But it's certainly not the safest thing to do.
Okay. Chris, I have a question. Can you ask Michael like one question while I go take a piss? Because I feel like my fucking urethra is going to explode right now. Okay.
You got your man here asking me questions?
I feel like he could fill this gap.
Have you ever done this with anybody else? Have you ever stepped away for a piss break during... Did you do this with Bad Baby?
I saw Joe Rogan do this the other day with, I forget who, but he had to step away to take a piss break, and he had his engineer speak to the guy. Did
you do this with Bad Baby, or you were on the edge of your seat?
I don't think her attention span was gonna withhold that. Gotcha. I'm also just interested to see what he comes up with here.
Go ahead, Chris. Right, ask a fucking question, Chris.
What's up?
What's your question, Chris?
I don't really have a specific question for you, so how you doing? How's the podcast?
If I was Bad Baby, would you have questions? You're fucking fascinated.
I would just be like, what's up? I don't care. I don't, you smoke weed?
Yeah, but I'm not fucking with you right now. It's too early in my day.
So how's this been?
It's been good.
Good? Shit talking?
Is this where the dude got held up?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
So where was the security? You were the security? Was that staged?
No.
So how did somebody get in here?
Well, we had the door open. The door open. We just got food, and then I was putting the food on the table, and I was literally sitting right back down by the door. And as I was turning to sit, he like ran in right behind me. I'll show you the video right after this.
And was there people outside? A lot of people outside?
No, there was no one outside.
So when you guys literally no one. When you guys do podcasts, it's not like, oh, we're having this celebrity here. You want to do it so it's controlled and quiet.
Yeah, okay. Nobody usually knows. I mean, we're live. People know that we're here doing it live.
So it wasn't staged? We are.
No, it wasn't staged, not at all.
But was it scary?
It was scary, yeah, for sure. 100% because, well, it was weird because, all right, at first he walked in. I didn't know if it was someone we knew maybe.
Right.
And then Adam, like, laughed kind of weird. So it kind of took me a second. Then I realized it was real. And then I looked at his gun, and his gun kind of looked fake. So I just...
Was the gun fake?
It was like a movie prop gun or something like that.
Has the guy been arrested?
Yeah, he's in jail still.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. He's not a good interviewer. I'm telling you right now.
Well, keep in mind that my employees right now have 2 blunts, and it's fucking like 2 p.m. It's 3 p.m. 2 blunts.
That says a lot about your fucking employees. You got fucking burnouts here, but at least he's on the case when they pull the fake guns on you.
Right. I mean, that was the weird part is the guy's coming towards me with a gun, but then he's right behind him with his gun pointed at the guy.
Are you, so you're security for real?
Oh, I'm a filmer.
I'm just a guy with a gun. Hey, let me ask you that. You roll around solo. You ever have anybody try to pull any funny shit with you?
Knock on wood.
Especially talking shit about all these rappers.
Knock on wood, I don't. And you know, and I'm, listen, you know, I would be, if anything ever happened to me in regard to that, I would be heavily disappointed because
in the culture as a whole.
In life as a fucking whole. Because, like I said, if I'm talking shit, I'm talking shit. I'm not trying to fuck anybody's career up. I'm not trying to fuck anybody's hustle up. I'm just talking shit. But I definitely, yeah, I mean, I'm a dude, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here and, you know, I've had security for certain things, but I'm not going to get security when I'm going to fucking...
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be a little much.
Yeah, that'd be a little much.
Yeah. How famous do you think you need to get in order to like have that be required? I'm sure that you probably meet people who think you're nuts for not having security, right? There's some people. It's just a question of how precautious you want to be with that shit.
You know, it's not so much about security for that. You know, I probably only when I'm out with my family. You know, like when people like run up on it, it's not even any. It's 99.9% of the time it's all positive. But when people run up on you when you're out and they go, "Yo, Rapaport, you motherfucker," and like that, like if I'm with my wife or I'm with my kids, like just chill.
That's like, let me be a dad, let me be a random fucking dude.
You don't see somebody. I'm holding someone's hand. Like when my kids were small and they'd be sitting on my lap, literally, and someone goes, "No, I'm good." You know, start talking to you like there's not a child on my lap. That's where you're like, you're bugging.
Right.
So
yeah, that's yeah, that's the
now
question.
My kids are big.
How famous do you feel right now compared to like, 10, 20 years ago?
Ebbs and flows. But
yeah,
because of
thing, right?
social media is a motherfucker. Social media is a motherfucker. And the connection that people have to me through social media.
They feel like they really know you.
And my persona.
You're not just this guy from the movie.
No. And they feel like they know you and that you're always talking shit into your phone. They feel like I'm always like, "You motherfucker." And I'm like,
it was kind of weird to watch you in that show last night because it's like
right.
a nice, calm version.
Right.
You're not talking shit. I feel like you should be berating the
right.
autistic kid.
Right. I know what you mean.
Right.
I know what you mean. But it's especially that part is
but
like,
I mean, after a day of like listening to your podcast for a couple hours and then to just watch that, I'm like, oh man, this guy's full of shit. That ain't him.
The character?
Yeah, it's
that's
like
funny.
Because it's like a normal human being.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah. When did you really start to feel famous though? When did your career really take off in an acting sense?
Probably like 93.
Okay.
Like when I did I think when I did this movie called True Romance, that's when I got to like a different level. And then Higher Learning was a different level. And
my first R-rated movie.
Was what, Higher Learning?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And I also there was something that was like kind of a turning point with Higher Learning because that's kind of when I realized because I'm looking at the two scenes in that movie and it's kind of like you got like the black militants and then you got the fucking white frat boys and I'm watching it And I'm just like, I feel so much more drawn to the black people in this movie because they like rap and shit.
To the black people.
And I'm like, these white dudes are fucking douches, and I don't want to play beer pong or whatever.
Or you don't want to be a skinhead.
But that's a weird moment where not that white. That's the other white crew in that movie. But that was a weird moment for me as like a fucking 10-year-old watching that and realizing like I don't fit easily into the right racial group. I don't think.
What are you? What are you? Black, half white, black?
I'm white as fuck. I'm
white
French Canadian.
French Canadian. French Canadian. What are you? You from France?
No, I'm from right outside Boston, Nashua, New Hampshire.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Boston. Shit.
Boston. So you're one of those New Yorkers that just like looks down on Boston. Wow, all right. No, I get that.
No, you know what I'm saying.
It's just not as like developed culturally.
No.
That's the problem.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You're not as developed culturally.
I mean, to me, I've just never been able to make sense out of the fact that, okay, you have New York. Every fucking dope rapper's from New York. It's easy to make the case for New York. And then you have Philly over there. In Philly, you got a whole bunch of dope rappers from Philly, and that's 2 hours away or whatever. But then Boston is 4 hours from New York.
What happened?
And there's almost no,
Guru's from Boston, but he didn't find himself till he went to New York.
He didn't even want to claim it.
And there's a couple of dudes that have come out of there with some songs here and there, but like as far as like a pinnacle rapper, I mean, Ed OG's good and all that stuff. And like I said, Guru.
You don't. Besides Guru, you don't have someone who's 10% of a Jay or a Nas.
Nope.
Which is weird.
Not even close.
Even like Philly, you could look at like Freeway, Beanie Siegel, Meek Mill.
There's a bunch of motherfuckers.
Whatever.
Will Smith.
Yeah, whole bunch of great rappers from there. Boston does not have anyone.
No, there's no top 10 list.
There's nobody on Freeway's level from Boston in terms of impact made.
No.
Weird, man.
No. Would you say that Kodak Black is a better rapper than Freeway? Fuck no.
No, not technically. And actually, really, like I have my complaints about Kodak lyrically because when I really listen to him, I do feel like he falls back on these sort of boring metaphors and shit here and there. But I feel like overall, his sentiment, his pain, and a lot of it is just the believability. Like I really believe the things he's saying, and that is a big part of it. And there's a lot of rappers who kind of fall in that category. NBA YoungBoy will say some foul shit, but I actually know that he really is a foul, fucked up dude, and that just it goes a long way with me. Yeah,
I know what you're saying. I respect that. Listen, ain't that fucking serious to me. There was another question I had to ask you. Oh, so this ongoing Tekashi 6ix9ine saga, because you've been sort of the, where is that at today? Is he getting out of jail?
No.
No time soon?
That was fake news. The idea that he was going to snitch and that he was going to get off completely because he snitched on the guy who he hired to shoot at Chief Keef, that was fake news. What is reality is that, yes, he is snitching. And what came out yesterday is that Shoddy, who's the main the main dude that was his manager, that was like the 9 Trey Bloods dude, that guy pled guilty. And he said that, like, he really made it seem like he was going to take it to trial. But, I mean, I think he finally had to accept reality. The 6ix9ine told on him. Everybody's going to tell on each other. They had a ridiculous amount of evidence.
So is he coming out of jail?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that you're going to see. I think 5 years would probably be the absolute bare minimum. I can't imagine that he's going to be doing less than like 7.
And at one point, Chief Keef was the dude. Where's this guy at now?
You know,
music-wise.
He's an enduring hip-hop character. He just put out a mixtape with Zaytoven that people are enjoying a lot. But, I mean, yeah, it is kind of rough for Chief Keef because he sort of came on the scene as, like, the hot, new, crazy, violent, unpredictable dude.
Right.
And that role, like, if you're in that role, like, Lil Pump was in that role, like,
was he in that role? Violent? He seems like it's more fun-loving.
I mean, he shot a fucking gun out the window of a car in a random viral video.
Damn.
People forget that Lil Pump was viral for his bullshit on Twitter before he was viral for his music.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, okay, yeah, Lil Pump probably not as violent as like Chief Keef, who was accused of like shooting at fucking cops and all this shit. But I mean, if you are able to occupy that role, like Lil Yachty, not violent at all, but he was like the young, hot, new, crazy, ridiculous kid before Pump
was. It catches up with you.
But you can never be in that spot for more than a year or two.
Yeah.
Because there's always somebody coming up behind you.
And there's also the police coming up behind you.
Oh, that's very true.
Because that usually, like Tekashi, that's the same shit. It's like the police come up behind you.
Yeah.
And I'm only scratching my nose because I'm Jewish and my nose is dry because I they
so you think there's gonna be a bunch of comments there saying
I don't know. Your shit's real fucking controversial, man.
You think?
I had to clear I said Biggie. I said Jay-Z is stupid or Jay-Z is dumb, and at the backtrack again, I just said Jay-Z is dumb. That could be the thing that's taken, and I want to make sure that it's dumb in terms of the the slang use.
But isn't that weird to think that some percentage of the audience right now are like rap bloggers that are just trying to find some little nugget to write a post about?
I don't respect any rap bloggers. Well, not say any, but the majority of them. If you call yourself a rap blogger or a hip hop blogger, I don't respect you. If you blog about hip hop and you really know your shit, top to bottom, from the beginning to the end, then I could rock with you.
The weird thing, though, is that anyone who had that kind of pedigree would probably be doing something more profitable than writing about rap, because the written word is really tough to monetize.
Who the fuck's reading that shit?
Nobody's reading anything.
Nobody's reading that fucking shit.
You don't ever write anything, right?
I mean, fuck. I mean, occasionally, but yeah, I mean, who wants to read that shit?
You'll write a blog post here and there?
Hell no.
I used to aspire to be like a writer until I realized that it was really hard, really long. It's like just picking apart words and working on your sentence structure is a big part of it. And like at that same time, I was also like getting really into YouTube and shit and listening to podcasts. And I was just like, holy fuck, this is gonna be so much easier and better and easier to spread. Now,
let me ask you something about you real quick. Let me take over. Like, this is the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. How did you wind up getting like this? Because I was like, who the fuck is this tattooed weirdo? Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like, how did you wind up sort of getting a following? Was it the podcast? Was it videos? Was it the store? Like, what was the sort of progression of your shit?
It was really just, I started a podcast to interview BMX riders because I started like the first BMX website in 2006.
Could you ride it? Like, you into that shit?
I did for a long time. That was my whole life for like 20 years. I don't really ride anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, I started like basically the first BMX blog and sort of like ran that shit. And
like street riders or
like jumping down stairs and type shit for the most part. It still exists.
Who's the dude from New York that's real dope? Like the original dude?
I mean, Edwin De La Rosa was my hero
and then
from
who
my
else?
childhood. Nigel Sylvester's
That guy.
pretty well known too.
Right, okay, that's the guy. He's from Harlem, I think. From Manhattan?
He's from Queens.
From Queens, okay.
Yeah.
But I see his videos and his pictures and shit. I fuck with him.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of legendary BMX riders from New York. That's why I moved to New York when I was 19, because I was like, okay, this is the coolest fucking BMX scene in the world.
I got you.
There ain't shit going on in New Hampshire. But then anyway, we had a store.
There wasn't a dope street BMX scene in New Hampshire?
I mean, I thought it was pretty dope that there was like 4 dudes that were down to ride with me when I was like 14.
I got you.
I was pretty excited
but
about
it wasn't
that.
popping.
It was not popping.
Okay, so you were doing that till 2006?
I was doing that in 2006 when I started the website, and then over time started doing podcasts and vlogs and stuff. And
that though.
Yeah, but we had the store downtown, and then various rappers start coming through the store, and
it was called
on some shit. Yeah,
but
shit. It was like more of like an underground scene. But that's really how I like made a name for myself, was interviewing underground rappers really early on, because I just wanted to have conversations, and there was just a lot of underground rappers that I was excited about at that time.
Got you.
Like XXXTentacion, who's the one that went the most viral and everything. But that's how I really built my whole thing. And then I sort of took that platform and was like, okay, let's see if I can leverage this to get a fucking Master P interview or a Ghostface interview or a Michael Rapaport
Did you have a Ghostface interview?
I did, and it was exhilarating.
Yo, that's dope.
I was in the studio with him. I saw him lay a verse.
What verse?
It never even came out, but...
You watched him rock?
Yeah.
Now, okay. So you understand, you said exactly what you're supposed to say. Yeah, I did a Ghostface interview. It was exhilarating. There's nobody right now who's even in the same planet as Ghostface. The same planet as Ghostface.
You feel that way, huh?
Nobody.
I feel like there's a lot of good rappers out there. I'm not sure I want to put him head to head with Ghostface, but...
You take anybody the last 20 years, and none of them, and no disrespect to J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, including them. I think if Kendrick
and Ghostface did a song together right now,
it'd be a great song, but they're not in the same planet.
I don't think that I would walk away from that song thinking, oh my God, Ghostface just washed Kendrick. Kendrick does not belong on the same planet as Ghostface. I don't think so.
I'm talking about originality. I'm talking about humor. I'm talking about wordplay. I'm talking about slang. I'm talking about vernacular. I'm talking about enunciation. I'm talking about just pure charisma with the microphone. There's not a fucking rapper that's in the same planet who's started in the last 20 years. No disrespect to Jay.
20 years.
In the last 20 years, there's not one of them. 20 years is not that long ago. We're at 2019.
Okay.
That's
2019 versus 1999. There's been a lot of rappers who came out since then.
Who's as dope as Ghostface?
I agree. It's a short list.
I mean, okay, that might be pushing it because we got a lot of dope ones. We got like.
If you're saying like the last 5 years,
no,
then
I'm not saying 5.
okay.
I'm saying let's say 15.
Okay.
Let's say 15 years.
So 2004 is the cutoff.
Not no one.
Lil Jon.
There's no one.
You don't think Cameron would sound good on a Ghostface song? I feel like Cameron pretty much came out and like really started getting popular in like 2000. Well, actually, it's more 2001.
Yeah, Cam is older.
Yeah.
No, but Cam's also from the same era as Ghostface.
In a way, yeah.
So I'm talking about like whatever the fucking dates is. I don't fact check. That's one of the mantras of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. You want to go 2006, 2007? No one can. There's not a person that could touch Ghostface Killer. Nobody.
Yeah.
Black Thought's 48, 47, 40. There's not even someone who you could be like, oh, he's even in the same.
But so you're willing to go off charisma when you say that, because you could probably sit here and say that Black Thought is a better technical lyricist than Ghostface, right?
Yes.
But,
I mean,
but
Black Thought's a freak.
But Ghostface has charisma out the wazoo. He's funnier than Black Thought. Black Thought's smarter and maybe a better. You don't think?
Ghostface shit is really fucking smart. His wordplay and like his whole like shit and like the way he says things and his sense of humor.
But I'm just saying that the defining characteristic that makes that we could say Ghostface is better than Black Thought is charisma and personality.
I would say
it goes a long way. To me, it's a lot more important than technical skill.
That's like picking a son in terms of Ghostface is pretty fucking special.
Yeah.
And Black Thought is like a fucking cobbler. He's like a lifelong. He's dedicated his life to the craft of emceeing, and he's gotten better and better and better and better and better. So you can't even. This is what my point is. Like listen, you can't be mad at me, you young motherfuckers, that I have taste. Don't be mad at me because I have good fucking taste. I eat good food. Okay, I listen to good music, I watch good movies, and I also fuck with Burger King. But don't be mad at me because I got good fucking taste.
That's your fast food choice?
I'm just saying, Wendy's, McDonald's, all of the shit. But I'm just saying, don't be mad at me because I have good taste.
But you still eat that?
Every now and then, I'm just saying, I'm not
You got money out the ass. What's your diet like? You have a chef?
No, hell no.
No?
I got a wife that likes to cook. But no, I don't have no chef. I just want to be clear. Like, I mean, yeah, I drink shit coffee, drink at Starbucks. But in general, like, this is about taste. This is about fucking taste. Don't be mad at me because I have good taste. If you think there's anybody in the last 15 years that's as good as Ghostface Killer, please reveal himself. That's as impactful. That's as nuanced. That's as unique, as iconic as Ghostface Killer.
Let me tell you what. Let's take a look at the chat. Let's see what the chat has to say.
Let me hear what the fucking chat has to say.
I would like to know what they think about this.
MF Doom is from the same
MF Doom
era.
is from a long fucking time ago. Someone said Method Man.
Method Man's in this set.
That's crazy.
He's stupid, man. Don't talk to me, man. Don't talk to me.
Do you got a chef? I got a wife. People like that.
Don't talk to me.
Okay, people are saying Lil Wayne belongs in this conversation.
Lil Wayne is still on the. He's good, but I still consider him from that era. Lil Wayne's fucking old. He's old. He's been doing this shit since like 4 years old. His first song came out.
Right. Lil Wayne is someone who, though, if you look at that time, he was maligned, and then
he got better.
Time, he did get a lot better.
He's like a guy who
improved, like a
completely improved.
Level, yeah.
And I don't know if it was the syrup or whatever, but he went through a catharsis as a rapper. But he also, when he came out, he was like 14, 15.
Yeah.
But he definitely. Oh shit, that's the same dude that was doing this shit? Nobody.
Some people seem to think that...
Don't say Kanye.
People are throwing Action Bronson out there. How do you feel about that?
I like Action Bronson.
I do too, and I said that because I knew that you were going to have some kind of reaction to it.
I fuck with Action Bronson. He's a friend of mine.
Great guy.
Love his shit.
He did this podcast as well.
Man, you got some good guys. I fuck with Action Bronson, but you can't... Action Bronson's biggest influence is clearly Ghostface Killer, and I fuck with Action Bronson, and I hated when that whole thing happened. I hated it.
I think that this is a good conversation for hip hop to have.
Don't say Rock Marciano, you fucking dummy. Don't say Rock. See, that's what I'm saying.
Why doesn't that work for you?
Because he's from the set. Don't say Rock Marciano.
Okay.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think.
And don't say Joe Budden, you fucking idiot. He's been around for years. The same era.
Joe Budden's fire.
That's what I'm saying.
Joe Budden, man,
but
I've been listening to some of those old Slaughterhouse songs because I just did the Crooked Eye interview. Joe Budden was so good, dude.
Yeah, I don't want to. This is stupid comments. I want someone to come at me. Like, see, again, don't be mad because I have impeccable taste.
Right.
My style is impregnable.
Hey. I want to ask you this. Did you catch on to the Tiana Trump controversy that came out because of this podcast?
I did.
It didn't go that far in the media from what I saw.
Well, you know why? Because Lance Stevenson isn't Kevin Durant. This is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And nobody, no disrespect to Tiana Trump, is focusing on anybody named Trump except for Dick Stain Donald Trump.
Really?
So that's why I thought it was going to be like bad news for Lance Stevenson. Brooklyn in the house.
Do you think there's any basketball journalists out there who are trying to dig in? I hold the key because I actually know who she was talking about because she talked about it with names after the story.
Wait, so she didn't say his name?
She didn't say his name. Twitter just guessed that.
What did she say? A Brooklyn basketball player?
There was a lot of different shit. The really disturbing
What was the
thing,
hints that she said?
Okay, she said that there were like these guys who were on the Pacers who fucked her when she was 16, and then she also said that there was a top 5 earning player who basically at one point told her that he was going to manage her, and so he had her Instagram login, and then he was using her Instagram account to get dick pics and videos of guys jerking off.
Oh man, you're going into some way out shit.
Yeah. I'm surprised the media wasn't more all over this because it's so salacious.
She didn't name names, and I think
it's a guessing game though because she gave a bunch of fucking facts about it.
But the sports media, I think they're not gonna. They know if they're gonna bring down somebody, I think they want to have a little bit. It's not hip hop, so they're gonna be a little bit more specific. But this girl's a porn star.
Yeah. Okay. Very popular porn star.
But I don't think the name Tiana Trump is gonna really get the attention because we're so focused on Dick Stain Donald Trump.
Yeah, you're consumed with that, huh?
I'm not consumed with it, but it's definitely something that I pay attention to.
I don't think her and Trump are in competition so much. I feel like people know that they're different entities.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. That's a good, very valid point.
What I gotta say too, though, is I really feel like, okay, as much as I look at Kodak saying that about Tupac and Biggie, and I agree it's offensive, he didn't need to say that, et cetera. I think that there's an extent to which, if you want to be the king, you have to come for the greats. Yeah, you have to put yourself in that conversation. At some point, you have to make people start comparing.
Spit it in a rhyme.
Yeah.
Spit it in a rhyme. Hov did it. I'm the best that's ever done it, dead or alive, whatever the fuck. I'm not big on the lyrics. I don't know the lyrics. Spit it in a rhyme. Spit it over like a fucking break beat. Spit it over a Biggie beat or a Nas beat or a Tupac beat. If you really talking that shit, spit it. Spit that shit. Like, spit it. Don't fucking say, oh, I'm the best. Fuck. Come on. Spit it. And then, spit your shit.
Or can you imagine if Jay-Z had Instagram Live? Like Nas had Instagram Live when he was looking at the tech on the dresser?
I think if people were just a little bit more apprehensive. And I know New York guys just, especially if you're really about it, you would think twice. And I just think it's a different time. And social media, it's made us all nuts. It's made you fucking crazy. It's made me nuts.
Someone tried to kill me on social media.
with the gun. Yeah. So makes you nuts. But I get what you're saying. I know it's part of being young. It's like Kobe Bryant saying, I'm gonna fucking take down Michael Jordan. I get all that. All right, well then you gotta prove it on the court. If you think you're that dude, one of these rappers, spit that shit. I don't want you spit your motherfucking rhymes. And when it's time to come in here, you don't do the freestyle and shit. Yo, here's a beat. Let me see you rock. Because if you did that to Tupac, Nas, Jay-Z, any of these fucking guys, Ghostface, Raekwon, Big L, and yo, let's go. Let's go. It's as if you're a street ball player, you show up at the park. Check, motherfucker. You don't have a jumper. Let's go.
I think that's why
part of the shit.
That's why it's in bad taste to say something about Tupac because Tupac can't respond.
Okay, then Nas.
If Kodak Black,
Jay-Z, why don't they mention they don't want to say anything about Jay-Z?
But would you respect it if Kodak Black was saying, "Man, I'm a better rapper than J. Cole or Kendrick," because they could just respond. Like we could compare their music right now.
Yes.
Rap in some way is like technology.
I would think it would be more understanding to say that. I think it would be more understanding. But listen, you if you're a rapper. You come on, you need to start having these fucking dudes, yo. You could say, I'm best this, I'm the best that. Yo, here's a beat. Let me see what you got, Money Grip. Let me see what you got. Just like if you say, yo, I could fight. Yo, you want to fight? These guys are fighting. If you say you could play ball, check. We're playing one-on-one games 11. You're an MC. You come on your show. This is a predominantly hip-hop show, culture show. You put on a beat. Let me see what you got. And if you're whack, you cut the beat off and you say, get the fuck out of here, man. Beat it.
I'm just gonna make sure that.
Did I just shut the whole thing?
Nah, it's fine. I just want to make sure.
But this is not asking a lot. This is not old. If you think you're dope when you show up on a podcast, when you show up on Charlemagne, when you show up on Sway, let's see what you got. Let's see what you have.
I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that the skill element is resurfacing as the primary element. I think people are kind of sick of Instagram antics, and I think that in Lil Pump and 6ix9ine, in a way, they kind of hit the ceiling of what could be done with crazy hair dye, face tattoo, SoundCloud rapper type stuff.
Totally agree.
I feel like now there's a shift back to more skill-based stuff in terms of what's going to get an audience.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But I'm gonna just say it one more time. You rappers, you're saying you're this, you're that. If you're really about the music and the musicality, you show up. Let's see what you got. Just spit your shit. Like spit your shit on Instagram. Kick a little freestyle just for the. You'll see Snoop do it every now and then. Just like 60 seconds, just rock. There's no reason he's doing it. He doesn't need any followers. He's just rocking because that's in him. Spit your shit. You'll see athletes do it. Le'Veon Bell sometimes would rock on his phone. Just rock.
I think rap is in a good space in the sense that you can just do that. You can just casually rap on your story or some shit in terms of how you viral. Because there's a weird thing where in like basketball, like you could be this big NBA star and then you fall back and you could still go mess around, shoot some hoops with your friends. You know, you could just go play for the love of the game. When rap, it's like if you're not in the conversation about who's dope and stuff, if you're a 50-year-old dude that's rapping, it's like kind of shit upon by the fans. And it's kind of unfortunate because it doesn't always, everyone putting out a song doesn't always have to be like chasing after massive sales and success.
Yo, if I could rap, I would be on this motherfucker all the time and like just like 60-second, 16 bars and just all the time. Just put it out there. And if your skill level is good, it's just you're just doing it for the. You just do it like you see like athletes. You see these guys, CrossFit guys. They're showing their shit. Do it. Let me see what you got.
You ever think that your antics on Instagrams ever going to affect your actual work, your actual?
I am concerned about that, but I know how far I'll take it. I know the language that I'll use.
If you had a Roseanne Barr moment, then you might be the fuck out of here.
That's right.
You know.
But I don't have the Roseanne Barr gene.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna. I don't fuck with. What did she say? She was on Vicodin or something late at night.
No, it wasn't Vicodin. It was the sleep drug.
Whatever the fuck it was. I don't fuck with any of that shit. So I'm not. But I hear you.
But so you don't smoke weed, or
I smoke a little weed.
A little weed.
A little weed and a little red wine. But that's it. Never fucked with any pills in my life. Never fucked with any booger sugar in my life.
You're missing out, man. I had some good times on that shit.
On that booger sugar?
Oh, hell yeah.
Fuck that. I don't fuck with any of that shit.
You want to fuck for 6 hours? That'll get you there.
But who really wants to fuck for 6 hours?
Someone who's been doing cocaine all night.
That's how you work on your fuck style. That brings it back to your.
I think I learned a lot in those
moments. Various fuck styles.
I was pushing myself to the furthest extent.
I got you.
It's been a while though. So, okay, what are you doing for the rest of the day? Just because I'm curious.
For the rest of the day, I am gonna do some bullshit, mundane errands. And then I'm going to chill. Then I'm going to walk my dog. And then I'm actually doing stand-up comedy tonight at the Laugh Factory at like 8.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then my day will be over, probably watching some sort of either basketball or some mundane bullshit TV or possibly some Bravo. Or I'm into this show on Hulu called The Act, which is, you ever see that documentary, Mommy Dead and Dearest?
I don't think so.
You should watch it.
Okay.
It's bugged the fuck out.
Really? What's it about?
It's about this mother and daughter, and the mother was forcing her young daughter from when she was born all the way till
yes, I did see this the other day.
The Munchausen.
Insane.
You saw the doc?
That's like the most evil fucking thing I could ever imagine. I actually watched this while I was in Australia.
The documentary.
Yeah.
Fucked up, right?
Basically, I guess you can keep explaining, but she was like convincing the world that her daughter had all these terrible
in
ailments.
a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And the daughter,
she was fine.
And the daughter could actually walk, and convincing her daughter that she had all these ailments. And when she got older,
Right.
she started realizing there's nothing wrong with me. And her mom, it was abusive.
Sick.
And she winds up, I'll give it away, but you should watch the documentary. She winds up, her and a guy she meets online, because this is like, 10, 15 years ago. So MySpace and Facebook were just coming. The girl found out about Facebook. She started having relationships with people online. She met some fucking lunatic who wound up killing her mom, and she assisted. And so this poor girl who was held prisoner by her mom her whole life never saw the light of day. She went right to jail, and I don't know when she's ever getting out. Insane. Fucked up story. Crazy, right?
Fucked.
They made a show about it on Hulu.
Right. There's a movie coming out or some shit,
no,
right?
that's the thing. It's called The Act. It's bugged out. So that'll be my night, Adam 22. That's my shit.
What time you get up?
I get up like 7.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, what the fuck time you get up?
I had 8, 9. I don't know.
All right.
I had Big Boy on here the other day. He was telling me he gets up at 3:30. I'm like,
Big
that's
Boy
some
from
grown man
Outkast or
shit.
Big Boy from
The radio?
Oh shit. Okay, that's dope.
3:30.
Cause to do his show.
Yeah.
What time does he do a show? 5?
5, 6. I don't know, something like that.
I don't fuck with that. 6.
I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah,
man. That's restrictive.
Yeah, 3:30s. That's tough.
Yeah.
How many people we got watching now? Is there any?
4,400.
Well, we went up.
It's going up. And the link just stays live afterwards. It's a beautiful thing. People can just watch it. The same link that we're live streaming from is the same link that it'll be accessible from 10 years from now.
Okay. But so give me the short version, because you didn't finish telling me. You did the BMX shit.
Right.
When did I was like this is like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I'm like, who the fuck is this tattooed fucking guy, and what the fuck is he talking about? You might have even been talking about Bad Baby.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this fucking guy? So how did it go from the bicycle shit to the store in Melrose to you're 32, 33, whatever the fuck you are, and you're talking about Bad Baby? Break that down to me real quick. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
How I ended up interviewing her. I don't remember how I ended up interviewing her. I think Atlantic might have just tossed me that and said like, yeah. Or no. I just met her. There was actually a party for one of the stores next door. And one of the stores next door had a party. She comes in back. No, it was for Rico Nasty. Rico Nasty's an up-and-coming female rapper that you would respect her. I believe if you listen to her. You should check her out on YouTube.
All right.
She's dope.
Okay.
If you respect Young M.A., I think you could respect Rico Nasty.
Okay, but I am reviewing, what is it, Juice WRLD's record?
Juice WRLD's album.
Okay,
but then Bad Baby was just in there, in back at this little thing, getting her nails done, and that's how I met her, and then she said she wanted to do the interview.
And was that like a sort of a blow-up thing for your podcast, or you were already rocking?
It wasn't like a blow-up thing. The big ones for me early on was the X interview, was the explosive one. I didn't like interview Lil Pump early on, but I took him on tour and did a bunch of like vlogs with him and stuff, and those were ridiculously huge. Or even like I had Lil Yachty's interview, like his first interview, so that was, I just kind of like got into that groove of like growing the podcast by just trying to get as many people like super early on as possible. Got you. Now
my other question to inform me, because I'm very uninformed. I am very uninformed. Where are the golf wing, Tyler the Creator people in regards to music right now?
Tyler still has a huge fan base and does crazy numbers. He still has a store right over there on Fairfax.
I'm saying, but in terms of the music, is he putting out any, like, are there anybody from that clique that are putting out music right now? Like banging shit?
What, from Odd Future?
Yes, Odd Future.
Like Tyler and Earl Sweatshirt are the main ones that still have careers, and Sid she has a group called The Internet.
Okay,
she's still pretty relevant.
Okay,
but I mean, yeah, they're still around. They still could like drop projects and do serious amounts of numbers and stuff. If you were to look at their social media, you'd be like, yeah, they're popular.
Okay, because I fuck with also ASAP, because the funny thing about ASAP is when I connected with them, they were like, yo, you went to high school with my uncle, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. I was like, you fucking cocksuckers. Like, that's like, and he was like, oh yeah, my mom knows you. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
You should have joined ASAP Mike.
ASAP Mike, the
prison Mike.
But like, made me trip me out because they were so much younger than me that I was like, oh, you went to high school with my mom.
It's always weird when you hear stories about your fucking parents from high school and shit.
Absolutely.
Or in your case, since you basically are like so old that I think of you like in the same category as my parents.
Get the fuck out of here.
Sorry, no, it's real though. No, but one time my friend was working at this junior high over the summer. Like he had this job where they would go in and like clean the fuck out of the school over the summer. And he goes, yeah, you know, I was working with this guy and he told me that your dad used to be his teacher in high school and that your dad would come in and just teach the class just high as fuck.
That's funny.
And I fucking confronted my dad with it. My dad was bewildered and pissed off.
It's like you found like a secret out about your father.
But my dad is just kind of a weird dude. So I understand why this guy thought that my dad was high when in reality he's just kind of odd.
Well, ASAP, when they said, oh, we know, my mom knows you, my aunt knows you, they were like, we heard you were a cool motherfucker. So at least my report came in valid.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the space that you've been trying to inherit for all these years, is to be the cool white guy in rap. Right?
Not white guy. Not white guy.
But people.
Well, they're always gonna.
That's a big part of your identity, no matter how much you want to ignore it.
Absolutely. But the reality is, I've always been the cool white guy.
Okay.
My whole life.
Yeah.
In growing up, I've always been, you know, when it was boy, you know, kid, you know, 13, 14, 15, 16. I mean, that's just the reality.
Yeah.
You know, and for younger people that find me on, you know, like that have gotten hip to me because of the shit talking and the commenting on Trump and the commenting on rappers, you know, the legacy lives on.
That's a fact. Hey, it was dope having you on here, man. We should do it again sometime.
I appreciate it.
I
appreciate it.
Michael Rapaport.
We're done?
We ended with 4,500 people, and we're just after an hour 30. So
is that pretty good?
I love solid round numbers. Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's good. All right, appreciate you guys. Everybody, we will be back. I'm interviewing Daylight later, and it's gonna be good. Daylight, another battle rap legend.
Okay. Dope.
I recently saw a battle that he did where he was battling this white guy, and so he dressed up like a slave.
Oh shit!
And was like, he had like ropes around his fucking arms and shit.
He dressed up like a slave.
But think about how uncomfortable this made the dude he was battling.
And did he win?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't make it to the end of the video. Before,
but check
I should
this
probably
out.
watch it right now.
But I know there's rights and all that shit. Like I know if you said to him, "Yo, will you rock? Will you spit?"
Oh, he goes crazy.
Okay, boom.
He's so lyrical, it's like a problem. Nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Now, battle rappers, they're a different level. But when you have a rapper on here, you should be like, yo, come prepare with 64. Okay. And also, it's good for virality. You're like, yo, come in here with 64. Or even you could be like,
yeah.
Let's go. Not you, but I'm saying
like
in
the
yo,
documentary, Q-Tip's doing that.
Spit some shit.
And then he dumps
you call
the desk
yourself
forward.
a rapper, spit some fucking rhymes on the No Jumper podcast.
Well, we're gonna be live streaming all day tomorrow. If anybody wants to pull up and spit some rhymes.
No, not to any, but get the motherfuckers that are getting paid as rappers. You're a professional rapper. Spit some shit. You're a professional basketball player. You say make 20 out of 20 jump shots. They're gonna make 20 out of 20 jump shots because they're a professional basketball player.
If any rappers want to come on stream, if they want a video of them just pulling up to the store and rapping for 10 minutes, let me know. Because if you could kill it for fucking 5-10 minutes, whatever.
64 motherfucking bars.
Right.
That's it. That's it. That's not asking a lot. Like we say, yo, we're gonna play. You're nice. Let's go play 1-on-1. I'll bust your ass. Blah blah blah.
More actual rapping on social media would be good, I think.
Yo, grab your fucking phone, play the beat that you want, and rock. You don't need any fucking people. Like, how do I get discovered? This is how you get discovered.
Use the platform
to
express what it's really about. Yeah, I can't lie. That'd be a good thing for the culture overall. He's out of here. He's walking out on me like Cuban doll. Appreciate you, man.
Did you have somebody walk out?
Yeah, she got mad because I asked about a song that another rapper made that was like kind of making fun of her. Anyway, we'll be back with Daylight. Thank you, Michael Rapaport.